Hello, thank you for tuning in. I'm RJ,
And I'm Sean Voss.
and this is All Talk Football. Last week we had a little bit of technical difficulties there at the end. I tried to fill in the last 10 minutes or so. We think we have it figured out, so hopefully we won't have any more this week. So first, I want to start out with recapping last week's NFL big games. I want to start out Chiefs at Raiders.
You
Sean,
want to
did you
start with
watch
that
that
one,
one?
huh? I certainly did. Yeah, that was a good game. What did you think of it?
I was a little too close for comfort from a from
Yeah, a
from my
little bit.
point of view. I didn't think well Kansas City was favored by a touchdown, right?
Correct. Yes.
I definitely didn't think the Raiders were going to show up like they did, but I shouldn't have been surprised being that they won the previous matchup. Hmm. You know, the defense just wasn't there all night, which I mean Kansas City's defense isn't great by any means, but I mean that I think that just shows you how good Patrick Mahomes is. He kept them in it.
Yeah, he really did. Got to admit, when the Raiders scored with a minute 45 left, I chalked it up for the Raiders already.
Yeah,
And then Mahomes just
it was a very MVP performance if you ask me.
yeah, I can argue with that. If I'm a Chiefs fan, though, I'm just I'm keeping that one over on Pittsburgh just because the Raiders are kind of built like Pittsburgh, except better. Pittsburgh's better. They play defense. They can throw the ball, run the ball. Man, I hope we get to see that game in the playoffs.
I I bet you that's going to be I bet you that's going to be the championship game, the AFC championship game. I have no doubt in my mind. But I I agree with you. I think that I think that the Pittsburgh defense is just incredible. I mean the defense is what's winning them these games. That their offense is doing really well. Ben Roethlisberger's performing really well, but their run game isn't phenomenal. So I
No,
think it's the defense that's keeping them afloat.
that's going to be interesting seeing how they do going down the road. If they do go 16-0, they will have earned it. Looking at their schedule, these actually six games are against all teams in the playoff hunt, and so if they do go 16-0, they will have earned it. It's going to be a tough road, though.
Yeah, they're definitely a good team. I can't argue with that. So the next game I want to talk about, um, Cardinals Seahawks.
Yeah, did you watch that one? Did you get a
I
chance?
did watch that one. Um,
Yeah, I did too.
Man, that makes me sad. We both picked Arizona last.
Yeah, it's funny what a especially in the NFC week West what a week makes a big difference. I think last week we were both ready to bury the Seahawks and the wheels have fallen off Russell Wilson. You know, 1 week later and Russell Wilson's right back in the MVP candidate race. Seahawks pull off a big victory against the Cardinals. I think the big thing in that game was they got their running back Hyde off injury.
Mhm.
Made a big difference. They were able to run the ball, which freed up Wilson to be Russell Wilson.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go back to definitely saying he's the in the MVP race just yet for me, but he definitely took a step closer in that game. The Cardinals the Cardinals defense just down the stretch had a couple plays where man they just needed to make a stop, especially on a third down. They had a chance to get off the field and just couldn't. Do you credit do you credit Russell Wilson to beating the defense, or do you think the Arizona defense just fell apart?
Um, in general, I like the Arizona defense, so I got to give Russell Wilson some credit on this one.
I know how Russell Wilson's been playing here lately, and this is definitely
Yeah,
the best team he's played in a while. So it just, I don't know if the credit goes to Russell Wilson, then hats off to him. But I I want to see next week. I'm hoping next week he'll prove that he's back in MVP caliber. But um, yeah, down to the wire, man. I really thought Arizona had a chance up until. I mean, did you? Was there any point in the game where you thought Arizona was out of it?
oh no, not at all.
Me either. That was a real shock to me. So I want to move on to another game. The Tennessee Titans beating the Ravens in Baltimore.
Yeah, I got a chance to watch that one as well. Uh Man, first half Ravens looked pretty good. Second half, not so much. At halftime, I was like, wow, the Ravens probably going to pull this one off. Credit the Titans, man. They defense showed up, offense showed up, Henry showed up.
Um, I think this goes back to what we were talking about last week. Lack of lack of imagination on the Ravens offense.
Yeah,
Um,
really.
I thought the Ravens were going to come back vengeful after that loss to New England at home. Instead,
Right.
instead they lose to Tennessee, which, I mean, Tennessee deep in the playoffs last year. Tennessee is a good football team. So
Oh, absolutely.
I'm not, no disrespect to Tennessee, but man, I thought Baltimore was going to whoop it up on them.
Yeah, Tennessee's defense is not that great. Yeah, it's been pretty average this year.
And you know, Derrick Henry, he's a beast.
Yeah,
If
and that number 11 for the Titans, uh, that guy was just running over people.
he,
He's a wide receiver.
oh yeah. They they've got they've got weapons that nobody talks about. I mean, other than Derrick Henry, nobody really talks about the Tennessee Titans, but they've got weapons. And do you think do you think this win over the Ravens proves that they're contenders?
Oh, absolutely. I thought going into the game they were still contenders. This is a huge game this week against the Colts. Again, Colts got the best of them 2 weeks ago. Yeah, Titans are a team. If they get in the playoffs, who knows what they could do?
Do you think they have a chance over Kansas City, Pittsburgh?
I don't think they'll make a deep run, but I think they can knock off a team or two. Surprise somebody.
Yeah, yep. I'll say that. So next
But
game,
I
I
do.
want. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was going to say I do think the Colts are a better team though.
Yes, I do too. Um, I have a couple more games to recap last week, and then I was going to spend a couple minutes on that. So first, I want to
Sure.
talk about Packers at Colts last week.
Yeah.
That made me sad. After last week, I talked pretty high praise about the Packers winning the NFC.
Yeah, you had me almost convinced that they were the best team in the NFC. I was like, wow, you made a pretty good argument. But
Well,
I did say that the Packers sometimes they're confusing. Just when you think they're okay, yeah, they're the best team and they're doing well, they do something like that. Not that the Colts, no disrespect to the Colts. Colts are a good team. There's no shame in losing to them in Indianapolis, but yeah, that was a tough one for the Packers.
yeah, I think it was a it was a 3 point game. That one didn't go in overtime, did it?
Yes, it did. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, I don't know if I'm backing off of the Packers yet, just because it was such a close game. It was a good team. Um, I still think I like the Packers in the NFC. Maybe, maybe. Uh, Taysom Hill did a lot of good in New Orleans.
Yeah, we both thought it was going to be Jameis. Everybody thought it was going to be Jameis starting
Yeah,
quarterback. Sean Payton, I think, just yeah, he just recertified his label as being a genius.
yeah,
He went with Hill,
yep,
and it worked out great. I got a chance to watch most of that one as well.
yeah. If I would have known that they were going to go with Hill over Winston,
Yeah,
I probably would have. I probably would have chose
yeah,
New Orleans, but and so I mean I like New Orleans with Hill. Um, if if Hill can play like that for the rest of the season,
yeah.
then
And they
New
get Breeze
Orleans
back.
might be the team to beat. Then
Yeah. Okay, here's my thing with the teams in the NFC. Green Bay, trust their offense. Don't trust their defense. The Rams, which I'm sure we'll talk about,
Mhm.
defense is great. Not sure I trust their offense. I think the Saints are the only team I absolutely trust both sides of the ball right now.
Yeah, I think that was the problem with last week is not knowing who was going to be at quarterback. Didn't trust their
Right.
offense last week. This week,
Sure.
Hill was it 2 rushing touchdowns? Um,
Yeah.
do they? Do you know who New Orleans plays this week?
Yeah, I have it right here in front of me. Sorry. No, they might have the week off. I don't see them.
Well, either way, down the stretch, I'm going to have to see a lot better
Oh, I'm
performance.
sorry. Broncos.
Okay, well, maybe not with the Denver Broncos, but I'm going to have to see a better passing performance um,
Sure.
to really be confident. He's a heck of a player, and he can run the ball um, really good, better than better than the bottom half of the NFL quarterbacks, most definitely. But I'm going to have to see an improvement in the passing game before I 100% trust their offense.
Oh, I wholeheartedly agree. They just gotta stay afloat till Breeze gets back.
And who knows when that'll be.
Yeah. They're saying maybe 3-4 weeks. So.
Well, hopefully he
But
comes back
did you hear how many ribs he actually had broken?
11.
It's like he had like yeah, it's crazy. And a punctured lung.
In fast motion, it really didn't look like nothing that should have hurt him that bad. But
They're saying that uh, some of those ribs got broken the week before.
oh wow.
Yeah. So yeah, he's a pretty tough little guy, Breeze.
Well, hopefully he comes back soon. The key is don't rush it. Um,
Yeah, for real.
you
Yeah, that's
you
why I think if you. Sorry.
you obviously prefer Drew Brees over Hill, but you can trust Hill enough to wait until Drew Brees is healthy
Right.
to at least make the
Exactly, and they've got what? They've got a 2-game lead in the loss column on the Buccaneers, plus they own the tiebreaker. It's
Mhm.
essentially 3-game lead. So they just got to stay afloat for the next couple of weeks.
So we've recapped last week pretty long. I have one more game I want to recap. Rams beat the Bucks in
Yes.
Tampa Bay.
Uh-huh. Yes, I would love to get that one as well. Again, what a difference a week makes. We were talking about the Cardinals maybe owning that division.
Yeah.
Yeah, then the Rams show up, beat the Bucks, and you know they look really good.
Well, Jared Goff, man. He dang it. I just don't know. He's not He's not
Yeah,
impressive. He's not impressive by any means, but he gets the job done.
right. Yeah, that's why when I was talking about I don't trust the Rams offense, it's largely because of Goff. He's just I don't know if he's the guy under pressure, chips are down, he's going to drive you down the field and get you a win, or if you have to play from behind. I don't know. Defense is playing not lights out, so
Yeah, that's one of the best defenses in the league. And you have to play pretty well. I mean, I know Tom Brady isn't having the best performance by any means, but I mean, he got the best of Tom Brady and all those weapons that the Bucks have. Um,
yeah.
you know, the Rams might very well just run away with that division. I don't
It's
see
possible, man. Yeah.
I don't see why not.
No, absolutely. As good a chance as any. In fact, I'd put them at the top of the division right now. As
And
far
well
as
deserved.
chances of winning.
Well
Yeah, let's
deserved.
talk about the Bucks for a second.
Yeah, let's do that.
Brady is not looking so good. He's really not. That offense is. They have all the weapons around them. Defense is supposed to be really good. They got 4 losses. You know. Did you hear what Bruce Arians, coach of the Bucks, said in a press conference? I want to say yesterday, Tuesday.
No, what do you
I mean,
say?
he threw Tom Brady under the bus. I mean, he was absolutely calling him out, saying, Brady's missing throws. He's making the wrong, he's making the wrong decisions about who to pass it to. I mean, I'm positive Brady's never heard this publicly from a coach before in his life, man. I
I
mean,
don't think he's wrong though.
oh no, he didn't say anything that wasn't true.
Yeah, Tom Brady, especially the deep ball. Tom
Yeah,
Brady is probably playing the worst he's ever played.
and the coach was saying, he's just making the wrong pre-snap read. He's making the wrong post-snap read sometimes. I mean, just really calling Brady out. And I
And
don't think Brady and Arians have the best quarterback coach relationship in the first place.
probably
um,
not.
I'm sure this didn't help. you know,
No, not at all. I
and so I wonder how Brady's going to react to it. Brady's a bit of a diva. I could see him being really upset about it. Now, what he does with that anger, we'll see. But clearly
well,
the coach and the quarterback for the Bucks aren't getting along.
if he's truly the player that everybody's made him out to be, he needs to step up in a big way. He's got a
Yeah.
big game this weekend. That
Mm-hmm.
even though he doesn't have to win this game in order to prove himself, he just has to have a good performance. But it
As
almost
much as it pains me to. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, I was going to talk about Tom Brady a little bit. It almost makes me wonder
Yeah.
if Tom Brady is actually as good as people said he was, or if Bill Belichick and the Patriots made him look better than what he really is.
The old system quarterback.
I
um,
I've got I've got a little bit of bias when it comes to the greatest of all time category, and many people have been saying that uh, Tom Brady's at the top of that list, but I don't. After this performance this year, I don't know if I can justify that.
I guess Arians just runs a different offense than he had to run in New England. So that's causing him problems. But if he's the greatest of all time, it shouldn't matter.
Exactly what I'm
you
thinking.
know?
All right, so speaking of them, let's go ahead and move on to next week. Chiefs in Tampa Bay. Chiefs are favored by 3.5. What's your thoughts?
As much as it pains me to say this, I would not surprise me of all the problems Tampa Bay's having if they came out and won this game. I'm not saying they are.
Right.
Okay, I just wouldn't surprise me. at all. Just because that's kind of how the season has gone. Just when we were about ready to bury a team, they rise up and make you doubt what you were thinking.
Yep.
You know, and just about when you're ready to annoy the team, you know, really good, they do something that make you rethink that.
That's been
So
every
while I
NFC
don't
team.
think, yeah, so I don't think they're gonna beat them, but it would not surprise me, man.
I
And again, I think a lot of it depends on how Tom Brady channels, you know, what his coach just said about him. You know,
yeah,
whether
if
he gets angry and
the Bucks defense is decent, definitely not good enough to stop Kansas City's offense. But Kansas City's
but
defense
they're
is not
supposed to be
great
that
either.
defense. See, that defense was advertised as being, you know, one of the best, you know, in the league, and it's not. It's clearly not.
Clearly not. Who?
And you know what kills me? I still this week hear the talking heads on Sports Center or other sports talk shows still saying the Buccaneers are the best team in the NFC. Still, 4 losses. What? I don't understand that.
I I have to
Do you
say
not have a sample size?
I have to say there's just no way. There's no way I feel confident in saying that the Bucks are the best team in the NFC. They have 4 losses, but
Two against the Saints.
like I would take a couple 4 loss teams over Tampa Bay. Like, do the Packers have 4?
I want to say they just have the three.
3
Let's
losses?
see here. I got it right here.
I thought last week was 4. Maybe I was wrong.
No, they just got the three. They're
Awesome.
7-3.
Well, I mean, I'm still taking the Packers over the Bucks. I still trust the Cardinals over the Bucks, honestly, even with that loss to Seattle. I
Heck, I'm probably take Seattle over the Bucks right now.
yeah,
I,
I think the
I,
Bucks barely squeak in the top 5 in my opinion.
I'm not saying they can't pull it together and make a playoff run, but I mean, it's ludicrous to call them the best team in the NFC.
There's no way. So I'm taking Kansas City by 3.5. They're going to cover that spread.
Yeah. You see, again, I think this is the spread should be more, but I think it's everybody just giving so much respect to Tom Brady and the players that they have around him. And you know, 3.5. I mean, I would think that it would have been a lot more.
Uh, especially, well, I agree, but
It's in Tampa, but you know, home field advantage doesn't mean as much this season as it normally does.
no, but it's all Tom Brady. It's all Tom Brady.
Yeah.
So next game up, a big one in the AFC South. Indiana is favored by 3 over the Tennessee Titans this weekend. The winner of this game leads the AFC South. Who do you got?
I'm going to stay with the Colts. I had the Colts when they played 2 weeks ago. I want to stick with the Colts. Um, Great defense. Phillip is playing really good ball. I like the Colts.
I I will I will agree. I I'm really torn up by this. I really think the Titans. I don't think the Titans are out of it. I think it'll be a really good game. But the Colts just beat the Packers last week. It's in Indianapolis, so I agree with you. I think the Colts. I think the Colts cover. I don't. I don't think they just win. I think they cover.
Yeah, I think so too. Should be a fun game though.
I'm ready for that one. And so the final game I want to preview for this next week, um, Baltimore at Pittsburgh.
Yeah, got moved to Sunday to run my Thanksgiving, but oh well. So the Steelers have been kind of screwed twice by COVID. They were playing the Titans in week 3, and the Titans had the COVID outbreak. So they had to have that game postponed.
Mhm.
Steelers have to take their bye week in week 3 instead of mid-season, which really kind of screws you.
Yep.
So now they're playing a game on Thanksgiving. Oh, they get a week and a half off. It's kind of like a bye week, but nope, they're not even going to get that now.
Well, the way the Ravens have been playing, I don't think it's going to affect Pittsburgh.
I don't think it'll affect them this game, but going down the stretch in the last 5 games, it would have been nice to have a week and a half off, considering you really didn't get a bye this year. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I'm worried about. I'm not worried too much about the Ravens as I am the rest of the season.
Well, who do they play after this week?
The next game is against Washington,
Oh,
which it's Washington. But then they got the Colts, Bills, Bengals, and Browns.
yeah. So I mean, that's not a scrub schedule. Um,
No, not
but
at all.
I, I, I put some faith. I put some faith in the Steelers' coaching staff that they put enough rest time in there. I know that there has definitely been some games where I'm like, really, Mike Tomlin? But ultimately
I
he's
mean,
ten
you
and
and
zero
both,
right now.
brother.
Ultimately he's 10-0 right now. So I shouldn't be you know going against him too much. So I got Pittsburgh covering. They're only favored by 4, which I think is very generous to the Ravens. Um,
That's funny because when they played a few weeks ago, the Ravens were favored by 4. So yeah, Pittsburgh favored by 4. Um, this game, doesn't matter what names are on the back of the jerseys or what the standings are. These two teams always play just a knockout game. Um, I love this rivalry. Both teams hate each other, but there's always mutual respect. You rarely see you know, you really see anything. What's the word I'm looking for? Uh, there's just always respect. They don't talk a lot of smack on each other. They hit each other hard. They come to play, and you don't. So
I
it's going to be a
was
good one.
I was really looking forward to having a nice Thanksgiving dinner watching this game
Yeah.
tomorrow night, especially everybody closing for Thanksgiving. That would have been awesome to watch that tomorrow. But the fact that we still get it on Sunday, it's still going to be a good game. But I don't. The Ravens have lost 2 straight, and 2 that
Mm-hmm.
they should not have lost. I don't think they should have lost to Tennessee. So so I don't like how the Ravens are playing right now, and I think that is why I choose the Steelers.
Yeah. It's going to be a good one. I mean, the Ravens. Their schedule after this game pretty easy. So I wouldn't say this is a do or die for the Ravens. But right now, as we stand, they're not in the playoffs. If the playoffs started today. Um,
Yeah, and I don't. They're obviously not expected to win this game, but they need to win a
yeah,
couple.
yeah. So yeah, I got to go with my Steelers as well.
All right, so that's all for NFL that I want to talk about today. Once again, I think we did this last week too. We picked the exact same this week as we did last week too. Hopefully, it doesn't bite us like it did. I don't think we got but one of our games right last week.
Yeah, I noticed.
So maybe this week, we only chose 3, so maybe this week we'll have a nice 3-0 sweep. So now I want to talk a little bit of college football. I'll recap
Sure.
last week. Um, I don't want to spend too much time on this game because, it gave me nightmares. I'm still having nightmares. Um, um, the Bedlam beatdown.
Yeah,
You have anything?
man, that went wrong really quick for the Cowboys.
Yeah,
I mean, I missed the start in the game. It was 14-0. You know.
yeah. Scored 21 points in the first quarter. That that was embarrassing. Now, I know I said that I figured OU was going to win, but I also figured OSU was going to at least try. They did not.
Hmm.
They did not try. They did not try even a little bit.
Didn't help. What's his name getting hurt in the first quarter. I did say it would come down to him. I didn't know it would come down to him getting hurt.
Yeah, well,
Uh,
I
they
know.
established. Yeah.
It's kind of sad that that's what happened. I really thought Illingworth would have stepped up a little bit. He played so well when he had to step up earlier in the season. It was just OU's playing great. OU's playing winning
Yeah.
football. So I
But the Cowboys had a
as
couple of chances.
go ahead.
So the Cowboys had a couple of chances to crawl back into that thing, but they couldn't score touchdowns. It was field goals.
And a couple conservative calls by Mike Gundy kind of made me upset when you're losing by 30 points and you decide to punt. That and
Yeah.
and you're in your own territory. Yeah, I don't know, but that was just embarrassing. Uh, that was just embarrassing. I want to move on from that. Indiana played
Sure.
Ohio State to the wire.
Hmm. They
Uh,
certainly did. Yeah.
did you watch it?
I did not watch that game. No, but
Man,
saw the recap and everything.
man, it was fun. Man,
Yeah.
it, I think Ohio State was favored by 24, 21, something like that.
Oh, they were yeah, something like that, something incredible when you consider how high Indiana was ranked. It was
Yeah,
startling. They were favored by more than 20. Yeah.
yeah, for a top 10 matchup, and uh, Ohio State's legit. I I do not care to root for Ohio State ever, but they're a
Yeah,
legit
yeah, either do I.
they're a legit team.
Yeah.
So the fact that Indiana lost by as much as they did, it just really surprises me.
It's going to be interesting. The Big 12 championship game looks like it'll probably be Northwestern and Ohio State. Western's legit too. Uh, Currently ranked number 8 in the rankings that came out. They also have the toughest strength of schedule in the nation this year. That's a good football team.
Which
I would
one?
love to
Ohio?
see
Which one?
Northwestern.
Oh yeah, yeah. They man, I thought Wisconsin was going to blow them out. I
Yeah,
so I think they're 8, right? Northwestern 8 in
yeah,
the playoff polls.
correct.
That's not off. I
Uh,
I
they
respect
go into
that.
the Big 12 championship game, knock Ohio State off. Yeah, I would love to see that.
Oh yeah, that would be fun. I love to see Ohio State lose.
Yeah, and see
Um,
somebody fresh in the Final Four. You
yeah,
know,
yeah, for real. I'd love to see someone else in the Big Ten, especially someone like Northwestern.
mm,
I have.
right? Yeah,
Hey, I have. Yeah, I really feel like I really don't feel like they have a shot though. I
No.
I, on, I honestly, even though they're 8, I know they just came off a big win against Wisconsin. I they won't beat Ohio State.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you think about the possibility of a team I think is flying under the radar? The number 6 in the polls, Florida, maybe beating Alabama in the SEC championship game.
You know, Florida's played well.
They
They've
really
had
have.
a good team all year.
Kyle Trask is playing out of his mind. He's my guy for the Heisman right now.
I I like him a lot. I don't know. I don't know if I think he can beat Alabama. Um, in my opinion,
I'm not saying it's going to happen, but that'd be fun.
Mac Jones is who I have leading Heisman right now. That's my
Really?
pick is Mac Jones.
Wow.
So I have a lot of faith in Alabama, and while I would love to see Alabama lose, I'd love to see somebody new in the
Mm,
playoffs. I still take Alabama.
it's hard not to.
So I talked a
But
little
I
bit
will be
last
reading.
I talked a little
I'm sorry.
bit last week about who I have in my top 3 um, in my personal Heisman list. What's yours?
Um, See, I wanted to kind of talk about this last week as well, but technical difficulties prohibited me from doing that. I would have called Kyle Trask. I thought it was going to be a hot take last week, but I don't think it's hot this week because people are starting to be aware that this kid can play. I watched him a few games. He can make all the throws. He's very poised in the pocket. Uh, he's NFL ready in my opinion. I like Kyle Trask. Um, man, Trevor from Clemson. Who knows if he would have played the whole season? Who knows? But I do feel like a lot of people just still want to hand it to him because they wanted because Heisman predictions at the early, starting of the year. I feel like if he wins it, it'll just be on reputation, not his play on the field, because he just doesn't have a big enough sample size to me.
Yeah, missing 2 games out of a shortened 10-game season, especially if they don't make the playoffs.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't I didn't even have him in my top 5 just
yeah, I,
because missing 2 games and having, I mean, I know the loss was not was when he was out.
right.
However, um,
And they're going to get another shot at Notre Dame. That's
yeah, yeah, maybe if he can beat Notre Dame, if he can put them into the playoffs, then he might move into my top 5. But even then, I don't see him taking the Heisman.
no, and I don't think he should. He missed games. That's my opinion. Mac from Ohio State, it's definitely in the running. Who else? Dude from Texas A&M is playing pretty well.
Yeah, yeah, really, really well. I am. I don't know if he's Heisman material.
Yeah,
Um, I like Matt Jones. I like Travis Etienne. I like Justin Fields. I don't know if I can choose him over any of those 3 guys. I don't know if I can.
yeah, I can't. Um, there are some worthy candidates this year, though. I'm excited to see how last few games of the season play out with regards to these guys.
Well, hopefully they give us a show.
Yeah,
So I just want to preview a few games. Um, Iowa State plays in Austin this weekend. 13 versus 17. Texas favored by 1 point. Um, Iowa State first in the Big 12 right now. Um,
That's
Texas,
amazing,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. Texas, some early blows that they shouldn't have had. But ever since that Oklahoma State game, they've seems like they've had something to prove. um, I give it to Texas. I give this one to Texas.
I do too. I'm not, I'm happy to see the Cyclones doing well. It's surprising that it's
Yeah, me too.
somebody fresh at the top of the Big 12, but I don't think they're there yet.
No, me neither. I don't trust Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy is one of the most experienced quarterbacks in the Big 12. He just he still makes sloppy decisions, and he's not impressive. I mean, he's a good quarterback. Don't get me wrong, really good quarterback. He's just not impressive like Sam Ellinger from Texas. He's impressive.
Yeah.
So I give Texas the cover on that one. Staying in the Big 12, OU travels to Morgantown, play West Virginia. OU's favored by 11 points in that game. OU and West Virginia statistically are the two best defenses in the Big 12. Uh, do you think West Virginia even has a shot?
I would love to say yes, but I got to say no.
I would love to say yes too, but I think it's very generous to have OU by 11. I think I think it's going to be more like
Maybe it's a Big 12.
OU by 17. I think it's going to be more OU by 20. I don't think West Virginia is going to I don't think West Virginia is going to make it as good of a game as what ESPN says they're going to make it.
Well, that is their job. Yeah.
So the last big one, there aren't many huge games in college football this week, but the last big one I wanted to point out, it's supposed to be a blowout, and it doesn't surprise me if it will be because Auburn's not good this year at all. But Auburn playing at Alabama, Alabama's favored by 24 points. Do you have any special take on that?
Um, yeah, 24 sounds about right to me.
Yep, I agree. Normally Auburn
Um,
makes it a show, but this year Auburn has really struggled.
they really have. What do you think about the Notre Dame North Carolina? People are saying that North Carolina might get Notre Dame some trouble this week.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
North Carolina
I really don't.
North Carolina started out way overrated to start the season, and that's the only reason they cracked into the top 20, I think, is just because of how high they started out. But I really don't think they've ever been legit. They've never been they've never been really 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 good.
I mean, lost to Florida and Seminoles and
Hmm.
lost the Virginia.
Yeah.
Not two, not two great teams. Um, yeah, yeah. I don't see that being the game either. But
Not at all.
they've been hyping that on ESPN as well.
Yeah, I'm gonna call their bluff. I don't see it. So
Yeah.
the last thing I want to talk about, we talked about Heisman a little bit. The last thing I want to talk about for today, um, an undefeated BYU team is ranked number 14.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of
They've literally played
controversy.
no one. They've literally played no one. I mean, pull up their schedule right now. I mean, the Navy, Army, Troy, UTSA. Houston. I mean, they've literally played no one.
I can see that to an extent, but I mean they've won pretty sizingly
Oh
in
yeah, these
in
scores are eye popping. Yeah.
in pretty much all their games. I just feel bad to leave them out of the top 10. They're undefeated. They have a really good chance to go undefeated throughout the whole year, and they're not even in the top 10.
They've got one more game. Uh, Looks like they just got the one more game. San Diego.
Yeah, and that
Uh,
that one that one should be a blowout.
there's a possibility they might schedule a game because they've got a lot of time off. Um,
Well, I really like the
I just
BYU.
What about Cincinnati? What do you think about the Cincinnati team?
Well, I thought they were legit until they're showing against UCF. Now I don't know. They're obviously. I don't think they're legit contenders by any means, but they're a
No, I don't
decent
think they'll
team.
make it. Yeah,
They're a
but
good team, but they're not. They're definitely not playoff worthy. Not.
no,
I understand every team's going to have their downs, but that game against UCF just kind of proves that they just can't hang. They just can't hang. If they can't hang with UCF in a game like that, I don't think they'll be able to hang with the big boys.
I've got a chance to watch them a few times. I agree with you to the most part. That quarterback, I forget his name, is really good. They play this defense where they have a position called a sniper. Number 8 plays it, and this guy is all over the field. I wish I could remember his name, but he's pretty fantastic. But Cincinnati's a nice team, but they're probably ranked right where they should be.
Yeah, I think that BYU at 14 was the only ranking that I really thought was kind of crazy.
Yeah, it's purely because of their strength of schedule.
I would have liked to have seen them in the top 10 in my opinion.
I mean, who would you kick out? That's the thing.
Mm, yeah, I don't even
Maybe
know.
Georgia. Maybe
Uh,
Georgia.
Georgia, yeah, Georgia didn't show up as this year. I really thought Georgia was gonna win the SEC this year. Before the
I
season
did.
started.
I thought they would do well too until I saw them against Florida.
Uh-huh.
Owned them.
I also think Miami's not 10th best in the country. I
I I got a chance to watch them against Virginia Tech, and I would agree they struggle against Virginia Tech.
Yes, they did.
Uh, that
I watched that one too.
quarterback holds the ball way too long. He takes way too many sacks. Uh, yeah, I could. They're running the bubble of being in the top 10. They're number 10.
Yeah. Well, so that was my only problem with the playoff rankings this year so far. Other than that, I think they're all pretty accurate. I like seeing Tulsa at 25. That they normally they
Yeah,
normally don't get the love at the end of the season like that. So um, it's nice. We have some teams this year that aren't normally in it. So I like that. Coastal
yeah,
Carolina,
I
Marshall.
do too.
I like to see it.
Right?
Well,
Northwestern, Cincinnati. Also
yeah, in
talked
the
about
top 10.
BYU.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So,
yeah.
that's fun.
It's fun, and we'll have some more fun ones to talk about next week. But
Oh, absolutely.
so next week we'll be wrapping up for a couple of the smaller conferences. We still have a few more weeks to go in the major in the Power Five conferences that started on time this year. So next week we will recap everything that happens this weekend, and maybe talk a little bit more about our updated Heisman watch. It changes week by week, so we'll have some more to say about that next week. But until then, thank you very much for tuning in. Please like, please subscribe. Please leave any comments if you'd like. If you have anything you'd like Sean and I to talk about. And until next week, have a good week.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving. Yes.